Today, as I drive, I want to talk to you about getting sponsored by fishing companies. Before the age of social media, you would almost have to either know somebody or have such a glowing resume and value to your skill level that you cannot be denied and they would have to let you in. Nowadays, as you can tell, many people, from the likes of girls holding out fish to just a weekend guy that fishes tournaments every now and then, can in fact get some kind of level, some level of sponsorship. Let me tell you what not to do. Form a generic letter, cut and paste it, and email it to everybody you know in the fishing industry. That is like the worst way to get ignored and the easiest way to get ignored. Another way to get totally ignored is to send out an email and ask for free stuff. Every company on this planet, as far as I know, and the fishing industry is no exception, they are here to make a profit. And giving away stuff is not a way to make a profit. If you're any type of businessman, you give stuff away without making money, you will eventually go out of business. And the third thing of not to do is to communicate with them and talk about and mention almost nothing what you can bring on the table to help them. After all, they're not there to, like I said, give away stuff. They're looking, if you talk to any marketing manager, in order to justify that marketing manager's decisions to either write a check, give away a product, unless it's the brother-in-law, a friend or something like that, that person has to justify why this person deserves a free stuff, a captain's discount, or even money, right? So you can't just willy-nilly just randomly give away stuff to people that happens to write you an email. So the ones that stand out are the ones that brings value to the table. Those are the top 3 things that I've seen that totally turns off a marketing manager or a company. You don't bring any value to the table, you cut and paste emails, and you ask what the manufacturer can do for you before you tell them what you can do for them. Now, I'm going to give you some tips of what to do before you even approach the company, right? I've seen this from the end of the fisherman, and I've seen this from the end of the actual company. As you know, as you may or may not know, I now currently work as the marketing manager for Mustad Americas. So I deal with a lot of proposals, a lot of pro staffers, a lot of the marketing budget, and I'm sitting at that desk dealing with this pretty much, the majority of my time, believe it or not. Another myth I want to dispel: working for a fishing company, like I am, the majority of the time you sit on the desk. You do not go out on the water. Yes, when I do get out on the water, it's great, it's wonderful. Sometimes I get to do some cool stuff. Most of the time is spent behind the desk. Stuff I put on social media, Facebook, Instagram. Obviously, those are fake lives. I am not on the water all the time. That's just putting something out there to be relevant. And I assure you, 90% of people out there are doing the exact same thing. Because in reality, nobody pays anybody just to go fishing and post on Instagram. Here is what you need to do even before you start writing that letter or email or asking for sponsorship. Even before you approach a company you want to work with or be sponsored by, I suggest these things. Check out their products, use their products, and know about the products. And it's even better if you got some media about their products already. Not a photo of the product sit there on the rock, and say, oh, greatest thing ever. That's just lame. It's easy and it's lame. You should use the product, know the product. Know what a grip pin is when you talk to Mustad. Know what a ratio of a reel is. Know the drag ratio if you want to work with a reel company. Know their line. Know their lingo. Act like you are already promoting their product. You have to like the product, or else it'll come across as being very disingenuous. But don't go over the top. Don't like, oh, I'm your biggest fan. I use your product all the time. It's the best ever. But what comes across is, okay, this guy loves our products already. He's buying tons of it already. Unless he bring extra value like media work, camera work, offer fishing trips if you're a captain and stuff like that, giving stuff away is just losing money. The people are already buying it. You should have your stuff together. You should have a website. You should have an Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all that stuff. Granted, it might not be big, but at least it shows a presence right now of what you are doing. And that will go a long way. Instead of, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a TV show. I'm going to start my Instagram. The I'm going to thing doesn't cut it anymore. This is fishing. People lie all the time. I deal with media events now. So all the time, I get people that call me up or email me and say, hey, Sam, do you have any captains in this area I can pay to go fishing with? Do you have any people in this area that would like to be involved in a media event for $500 a day plus expenses? But if I don't know that you can provide that service or don't want to, I will not call you. I will call only the people that offers that kind of service. Obviously, offshore trips are not easy. So if you run an offshore trip and the gas going to cost you $700, put that in the contract. 1 to 3 trips per year, cover expenses. It's that simple. If you are totally new to the industry, you're from the outside looking in, like I was. I knew no one from the company. I knew nothing, right? I just did my thing. When I first started doing social media and stuff, what are you doing, Sam? You're wasting your time. Are you posting all this stuff on Facebook and social media and Instagram and forums and stuff like that? You're just wasting your time. I don't have time for that. But you know what that did for me? That left a trail of online portfolio of my life. I'm legitimate. I'm legitimized. It's not what, oh, I'm going to start a blog. Oh, I'm going to run a tournament. I'm going to go to the moon. It doesn't even matter. If you're going to do something, that means you didn't do it. I've done it. So all those times that people thought I was wasting my time, it built up to give me credibility. If you're a good bullshitter, then obviously you can skip a lot of this stuff. I am not. I'm pretty frank and forthcoming with my information. And I do sometimes not burn bridges, but do hurt people's feelings, right? I call it out. I call it out sometimes to my own detriment sometimes. Once you have your ducks in a row, you have a website, you have photos and portfolios and all that stuff, and what you can offer, your outline of what you can offer people. Once you have all that done, now it's no more, I'm going to do this. You want to be able to approach a person, whether it be me or any other company, right? The best way to approach them is not to cut and paste an email. The best way to approach them is to meet them in person. How am I going to meet these people? I don't even know who they are, right? The best way to meet these people, as far as I know, if you came from nowhere and nothing, is to attend events and shows. Like all these little charity CCA events and everything else that you see here, to you from the outside, that looks like a total waste of time and money, right? But when you go there are people that's influential in the system that you meet. And at that point in time, you get that business card, you give your business card, whether it be the Miami Boat Show coming up, whether it be ICAST, whether it be just a random small round the corner boat show. You'll see manufacturers, you'll see dealers, and they can put you in the right direction if you got your stuff together, or they can actually, now you have somebody you can work with, right? whether it becomes fruitful or not, you're going to be in their memory. And that's one of the reasons I continue to post on social media. Not that I want any more business, but I'm still in front of people's faces. I know guys that started off exactly like that, and their work is so good, they get continued business. All they do is use social media. What I find the least effective is to ask another pro staff of that company, hey, you're with X company, how can I get on with X company? Well, that's kind of like one of those things where A, that person is competitive. They don't want you on the same team because now they feel special and you don't have it and they do. Or B, they don't want to give you their contact because people's going to wear that contact out. And now that person is going to look like the asshole that give away the contact. The exception to the rule is that you are so good at what you do, you are over the top. You are so good at what you do, you bring so much value to that company that you cannot be denied if you approach that company. That's the exception to the rule. Then you can approach almost anyone. If your stuff is good enough, whatever it may be, whether it be video, you're the biggest captain in the Southeast, you win every tournament you enter, whatever it is, unless your stuff is so undeniable and you're super famous, then that supersedes all these steps because your work pretty much speaks for itself. But you still got to write that proposal, right? So because you're famous doesn't mean you can deliver all that stuff that you've done in the past to them. They got to know you're willing to do that kind of stuff for them. Do the initial contact. Hey, how you doing? Here's the proposal. Good meeting you, blah, 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 blah. And send it to them. And don't send it to them the day after you met them, right? Wait a few days. You know, you can't, because they're going to get overwhelmed. You meet them at ICAST, guess what? They got a stack of stuff, emails this big that people hammer them. You might want to wait a couple of weeks. That way, they get that stuff cleared up, and you send it to them, and you got the proper proposal, and it's going to look way better and more professional than hitting them up right away. If you don't get a reply from them, I would wait about a week and hit them up again. And if you still don't get a reply, wait another week and hit them up again. Not sure if you missed the email. I just want to keep in contact. Here's what I'm willing to do. Blah 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 blah. And if you don't get a reply, then you know they could be piled up. Don't get your feelings hurt. And every time you see them at a show, just go up and say hello, right? Hey, just let me know when you have another position available in the pro staff. I would love to be involved in your company. I love your products. And that's it. Don't do anything crazy. Don't sit there and hang around for days, you know, and still give them little tidbits and send them little tidbits throughout the year, reminding them, hey, we use your product for this. Give them little freebies, you know, cell phone pictures and stuff. Every little bit helps, right? Everybody got a cell phone now. So send them a cell phone picture. You know, they see your stuff. If you're already doing that kind of stuff for free, well, guess what? Next time there comes time to sign somebody up to be official in the pro staff, you're at the front of the line. All the news guys got to wait. And lastly, when it comes time to approach marketing managers and companies, you ask them, hey, when do you guys make decisions on budgets? When do you guys make decisions on pro staff? There's always timing for these things. Most of the time in the fishing industry is right after ICAST, between August and October. Those are the slow times for these guys, and that's when it usually happens. So those are the emails that get read the most. January, February is like the worst time. Everybody's coming back from vacation. Everybody's getting hammered with old emails. All the kids are going back to school. Like right now, this is February. I'm still dealing with renewals of contracts and stuff like that. So it's like the worst time to ask at this point, because now it's just overwhelming. Each company, when they do their budgets, when they do their pro staffs, and so on and so forth. And that's what I got for you today, guys. I will continue these talks if you're interested on the angles and what to do to get sponsored on the inside and the outside. Like I said, I've been in this business for 10 years, from the recreational angler's end to sponsor person's end to a camera guy's end to being on camera myself, now to be on the other side working for the actual company. I think I got a great insight of almost 360 of what to do in the fishing industry, of what to do and what not to do. And believe me, I have learned a lot of what not to do and a lot of failures. You only see the accomplishments, but I have tons of failures. So just because you screw up one time does not mean you can't come back and redeem yourself. Like Dumb and Dumber. All right, I'm out of here.
You know, Lloyd, just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself!
Still want to go to Aspen?
Oh, yeah! Okay, let's go, buddy!